I've got some bad news. All have fallen short of God's glory, and there's nothing to fix it that we can do. I've got some bad news. God granted us with his image, and we repaid him with our abuse. I've got some bad news. We have been tirelessly at work and have rightfully earned all the judgment of which we have been accused. I've got some bad news. This accusation bears a debt that all penalties of this magnitude must use. Your very life will be taken, and infinitely from God's presence you shall be removed. I've got some bad news. All of this is true. But this is not the only story the printing press of the world has introduced, for I've got some good news too. Since there was not one person who could save themselves, God stepped into humanity's shoes. I've got some good news. This shoe-wearing God is known as the Christ, the anointed one whom the entire story of God has always had in its view. I've got some good news. He was pierced for our transgressions, for our iniquities he was bruised. He carried away our shame and oppression as his body was carried into a tomb. I've got some good news. This Jesus did not just die under the wrath of God, but the sting of death he has removed. For he rose from the dead so that from its depths new life he may now reproduce. I've got some good news. No, better make it great. That while you and I were filled with hate towards God, he did for us what we refused. I've got some great news. There is no amount of sin into which God's grace cannot be infused. There is no stain on your dress that God cannot make brand new. I've got some great news. It doesn't matter if you are a user or adulterer, alcoholic or murderer, prostitute or prisoner, all your sins can be removed. It doesn't matter if you are a hater of God, a neglectful father, a lover of wrong, a distant mother, all wrinkles can be made smooth. It doesn't matter if you are sexually broken, jealously potent, foul-mouthed spoken, you are chosen to be cut loose. For God has perfectly saved you with his perfect substitute. I know you've got a lot of bad stories, but I've got some really